Hello, everyone. My name is Dennis Graham. My presentation is regarding solving the world's water crisis. This is for GTD 511, Global Policy Development. The world's water crisis as an overview. As we know, water is a vital resource that is needed in basically all aspects of our lives. There's nearly 1 billion people in cities around the world which suffer from a water shortage currently, and this value is expected to double by 2050. An increased water consumption of roughly 1% each year for the last 40 years, which is also expected to continue. So the water consumption will continue to rise, especially as populations increase. Severe impact to the economy, living conditions, as well as nature in general. Development aid for water has increased from 2.7 billion to 8.7 billion during 2002 to 2022. So basically for the last 20 years. Potential resolutions for this. We're looking at an increase of dams and reservoirs. So this will allow for the proper storage of water and also to ensure that areas that suffer from droughts at certain times of the year can be released. Rainwater harvesting. So there are various technologies to harvest rainwater throughout the year, and again to help during times of the year when certain areas have a lack or a drought. New styled aqueducts, so a better possibility to get water from areas of abundance to areas that lack. Sterilization and desalination, so sterilization of water in the form of water treatment plants, and then also desalination, which is essentially the removal of salt and other minerals from salt water. Water recycling plants as well, something that obviously a lot of developed countries have, which needs to be increased, and of course, just in general, areas which do not. And teaching and educating individuals about water conservation, proper water usage, uh, and ensuring that we do not overuse water in an unnecessary manner. Problems that we can see with implementing these plans. So again, the lack of general water, especially in urban areas, poses massive health risks. So the transmitting of various waterborne diseases is a major problem in areas that lack proper water supply. Sanitary concerns, again, specific to not having purified water, not having clean water for areas that are not able to provide it for themselves. Um, Something key here that is a major problem is that the lack of water can also mean a massive lack of food production. So, of course, farms need an abundance of water in order to produce their crops. So, lack of water means that the food production itself would suffer. One of the biggest issues that we see with implementing these solutions is a lack of financial investments. So it is currently estimated that about $200 billion in investments is needed over a 5-year span in order to resolve the water crisis, the world's water crisis. And if we recall back to the previous slide, the current investment is just shy of 9 billion. So we are a substantially distant position in order to resolve this within a reasonable amount of time. Of course, our positive outcomes for solving the world's water crisis, safe and drinkable water globally, a reduction of waterborne disease and illness, eco-friendly water treatment facilities, which would again massively help the ability of providing properly treated water on a global basis. Effective water conservation, which is critical to make sure that we're not overusing and wasting, which entail is also mainly provided by improved education and proper water usage to make sure that we're not using it in a manner that is unreasonable and something that the system can't handle. Additional outcomes we have a more sustainable environment. So we have more water recycling, lower usage. Um, Another benefit from one of the solutions, of course, being dams, is that in tandem, you can also provide hydroelectric power. So an increase in water availability, but also you could potentially increase the electricity generation through the dams. The water crisis is likely going to admit a economic decline. And of course, by solving this crisis, it's a major prevention of an economic decline. And again, our overall health. Water is something that we need on a daily basis. It's something that we all need. And it's, of course, needed for general population's health. As an overall analysis on the success or failure possibilities, in all reality, we have to be successful with these projects. It will be difficult, but in order to ensure that we do not increase exponentially the amount of individuals globally that do not have access to clean water, will continue to provide more issues with disease, health concerns. Again, it's people's livelihoods that are at stake. And of course, also is crucial for global development. So as we see populations increase, cities are getting larger. In order for real adequate global development, we need to be able to supply the citizens of nations around the world with proper and clean water. Safe drinking water is what I believe a global right that all humans should have. And realistically, billions of lives are at risk. So there are a lot of people that could potentially, it could prove to be fatal. Delays in any actions are really just going to make improvements more difficult as time goes on. So we have an already very large task at hand currently. And the longer we wait, the more difficult and challenging and expensive this is going to be in order to solve this. And of course, we see an ever increasing population on a global scale, and that ultimately will demand more clean water. So in order to make this successful, support from local and national authorities is key. And with the support of local and national authorities is to enable development programs to start raising funding. So as we can see, it's estimated that about $200 billion worth of investment over 5 years. And that's a pretty aggressive strategy. But in order to accomplish that, realistically, it needs to start now. So nations that have the capability and the funding to really start these development programs to raise the capital funding that's needed. Again, delays could prove to be fatal. The lack of drinking water is a major issue, and in order for us to prevent large-scale fatalities and health concerns, it's something that we need to do. And as a result, failure is ultimately not an option. Thank you very much. My name is Dennis Graham. Again, this is the world's water crisis.